Hello, I'm Niall Murray, General Manager of the Collins McNicholas Recruitment and HR Services Group. I'm delighted to be joined here today by Declan Fitzgerald, CEO of Recruitivate. Declan is the founder of the Irish Recruiters Group and is formerly International Recruitment Manager with LinkedIn and Recruitment Manager with Microsoft. Declan has joined us today to talk about using LinkedIn as a job search tool. Declan, you're very welcome here today.
It's great to be here. Thanks a million.
Declan, the first question I have for you is, can you tell me, how do you set up a LinkedIn profile?
Okay, well, there's a lot of functionality in a LinkedIn profile. I'd always advise people to start with the photograph. So make sure you have a professional photograph up there first and foremost. And then as you move down the profile, make sure that you have a good title explaining, what kind of role you're actually doing right now. Think carefully then about putting some specialities into the profile, and there's a field for that. So put in kind of 7 or 8 very clear specialities that you have. Talk then about your achievements. I prefer to see what people have actually achieved rather than just their responsibilities. You could put a bit of both in there, but kind of lean towards those achievements. I think now that we live in a professionally networked world, you need to think carefully about how do you interact with this profile as well. And I think that's very much a case of using the update section on the profile to actually share out articles, or if you have a Twitter feed, share out some of the tweets you have. And then a big favourite of mine is I like to see a PowerPoint embedded in someone's presentation, because the functionality is there to do that, and I think it gives an extra bit of dynamism rather than just your standard CV, which is kind of flat these days. And how you put that PowerPoint is you go up to a site called slideshare.net, you log on, and then you upload your PowerPoint, and then you can sync that back to your profile on LinkedIn. And the PowerPoint can be anything around your portfolio of work that you've done or challenges you've solved. And I think it's a nice way to get the attention of a recruiter to actually start clicking through that PowerPoint. They'll remember you as well, because not many people do that.
Very good, Declan. Thanks a million for that. Second question, Declan. Once you have your profile up and running, how do you become really active on LinkedIn?
You need a strategy for that. You need to think about, what groups do you want to be active in? What kind of people do you want to engage with? What kind of content do you want to share? So I'd kind of say at the start, stop and listen. Just watch what's going on in the ecosystem. Then once you've decided those kind of, that flavour of conversation or the tone you want and those people you want to actually talk with, or the groups that you want to target with, then it's a case of kind of maybe engaging from the point of view of liking other people's conversations or commenting on them, and then creating your own. And from that, hopefully you'll start to stimulate a debate. Once you have people interacting with you, it's a case of then having an opportunity in front of you, which is, can I take the conversation offline, or can I keep it online and connect to someone? That's kind of where the magic happens.
Very good, Declan. Some great advice there. Third question then, once you have your LinkedIn profile up and running, are there any other ways you can use LinkedIn to help you find a job?
I think there's lots of ways to use it. It's a very, very kind of rich in functionality platform. I think the whole idea of those posting of those updates that I mentioned, I think that's really key. I think it's kind of, broadcast yourself. It's a case of brand, or to a certain degree be branded. And by being branded, I mean being inactive. And you're kind of by default saying, well, I don't know how to use this technology well, or I don't want to use this technology, or I'm not motivated enough to find out how to use this technology. I said, go out there and brand yourself. So get the content, start generating it, and actually start sharing it. I think the Twitter feed is good as well. So you can actually start tweeting about various topics that are out there in the marketplace that might be interested to that target audience that you're trying to actually get a relationship with. So think about how you can actually become an influencer for that specific skill set that you have specialities around. I think things like getting good references onto your profile are important as well. But there's a job section on LinkedIn, so go check out the jobs. There's company profiles. There's over 2 million companies now with profiles, so go follow the company that you're interested in. All that type of activity will help you build your brand.
Very, very good. You just mentioned Twitter there. Just Twitter, Facebook. We hear a lot of talk about Twitter and Facebook. Do you think they can be useful in terms of job searching?
Yeah, I think they can. I think they can be useful from a point of view of understanding what the company or influencer that you're trying to approach, what they're doing with Twitter, if they have Twitter feeds. A lot of the big multinationals out there do now. So try understand what they're tweeting about, because that'll help you if you go into an interview. You can kind of refer to the tweet that you just saw that day or that week, therefore showing that you've actually prepared. And that's always a good one, showing that you've prepared properly for the actual interview. I think generally speaking, tweeting is more about broadcasting. It's more about branding. It's less about sourcing jobs, even though a lot of companies are beginning to post out jobs, and I think a lot of them are doing it wrong in that they're blasting out jobs, a lot of recruiters in particular. I would say use that tool as a branding tool, and then use Facebook as more of a branding tool, but more in the B2C or business to customer kind of area, not B2B. I think LinkedIn is the B2B platform, so business to business. I think that's very much about, you know, putting your investment and time into that channel more so than Twitter and Facebook.
Very good. A lot of stories recently about Twitter and Facebook. Just people need to be very, very careful. Would you have any advice to job seekers when using Twitter and Facebook?
Yeah, well, you don't really want to have a photograph of you doing a kind of a handstand, you know, drinking out of a keg or something to that effect. You know, that's not going to do you any good. You know, unless you're going for a certain type of job where you want to be seen to do that kind of gymnastic behaviour. I would say, be careful about what you do online. What happens online stays online at the moment. There's no delete button, you know, and there's a lot of ways you can actually search for cached information about what people have done. A lot of recruitment departments are beginning to, what I would call, develop what's called a cloud CV. Now for me, a cloud CV is kind of your LinkedIn profile and everything else that they can find of you on the internet. So they'll start searching for things around your name. They'll start searching things around your name and maybe, you know, keywords associated to companies you've worked with. They'll aggregate that information, maybe discussions you've had in public forums. Particularly if you're a software developer, for example, sometimes you'd answer questions, technical questions online. They'll try find those, some of the more savvy recruitment departments, and then they'll present not just your CV if you've sent one, and not just your LinkedIn profile if you've sent one, but also what else they find on web. So just be very careful about it.
Great stuff, Declan. That's been fantastic. Some really, really good information there. Declan, in summary, in 10 seconds, what are the key things I need to do to get a LinkedIn profile up and running?
Get a good photograph up there. Start thinking about putting your achievements into your profile, not just your responsibilities. Build out your skill section, your speciality section, and think about that PowerPoint I mentioned.
Brilliant. Declan, thank you very, very much. For more information on job searching tips, visit collinsmcnicholas.ie. And for more information on social media recruitment, visit recruitivate.com.